Honorable participants of the conference, let me introduce the obtained results of the study Statistical Peculiars of the Lexical-Semantic Group Evil in the John Kelton Rowling's Harry Potter, carried out by the group of scholars Oksana Marchuk, Bekhta, and Nataliya Bondarchuk. So, the problem of the interpreting lexical semantic space of the English fantasy text fundamentally correlates with the word meaning. Using modern statistical approaches, lexical semantic units rendering a plate of negative emotions have been found to be reinterpreted figuratively through the prism of images. The effectiveness of the statistical peculiars was proved. The purpose of this article is to create a framework of lexical-semantic group evil that is done for the first time on the material of modern English, the textual complex of novels by John Kelton Rowling, and to describe a versatile and multidimensional verbalization and actualization of lexical units of the lexical-semantic group evil on the three narrative levels: anthropomorphic world, floromorphic world, and zoomorphic world. According to our research, the fantasy text is the technique of hybrid writing, which has created a dual structure on the background of myth and author's tales, filled with the semantic choices and fictions forms of explication of various worlds created by the author-writer, the primary world and the secondary world. The lexical-semantic structure of the hybrid fantasy world is simultaneous realization of the concept of good and evil. So in this research, we basically concentrate our attention on the lexical-semantic classification of the lexical-semantic group evil in the English fantasy text Harry Potter. The key component to every English fantasy narrative story is the conflict that John Kelton Rowling portrays in different ways perfectly. The eternal conflict that the characters experience in the sequel. Next one is a small conflict that unfolds between the characters in the sequel. And the last one is a great conflict in which the characters are confronted by an outside force. All these conflicts are certainly important, but the most significant is the central conflict within the English fantasy text, the struggle between good, that is represented by boy wizard Harry, and the evil that is represented by Lord Voldemort. The presence of evil in the Harry Potter sequel is undeniable. So therefore, the next task to be solved is to perform lexical-semantic classification of the lexical-semantic group evil in the English fantasy text Harry Potter. So, by lexical-semantic group, we mean a group of words united on the basis of the presence of a common semantic component in the semantic structure of these words. The procedure for conducting component analysis may be as follows. The first one is analysis of the dictionary definition of the lexeme and the context in order to realize the lexical-semantic variant. And next one is combining lexemes whose semantic structure has an invariant corresponding to the subject property into the one lexical semantic group. So, according to the lexical definition analysis, we generated the number of synonymous range of the lexeme evil in its various meanings, and they include such units as bad, wrong, immorality, demonic, devilish, wrong, malicious, dark, black-hearted, sincere, and others. So they are all substantive, non-derivative lexeme constituents of the lexical-semantic group evil. Also, numerous are the negative emotions which receive imaginative framing through the prism of the images. Each of the emotion is expressed by a number of synonyms, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, verbs, and participles. Most of the verbs of speech found in the selected contextualized fragments are related to shouting, Most of the verbs are combined with nouns, adjectives, and participles, reinforcing the emotional coloring. For example, a horrible squealing yell was yelling so loudly. So the main characters in Poteriana's magical world are screaming with fear and rage. Component analysis of the semantics of lexical units to denote evil in English fantasy text, Harry Potter showed that this concept is realized on 3 narrative levels, and this is anthropomorphic, floromorphic, and zoomorphic. 3 levels were defined, and the first one was anthropomorphic world, where evil is done by humans. Next one is floromorphic world, where evil is done by animals, and the last one is zoomorphic world, where evil is done by plants. So in total, 351 lexical units containing negative evaluation in their semantic were enrolled in the lexical-semantic group evil. By the number of constituents, the most numerous is lexical-semantic group anthropomorphic world, which includes 173 units. And this phenomena is explained by the fact that the main activators of negative atmosphere and emotions are humans. So next one is the lexical-semantic group zoomorphic world, which include 112 lexical units, and the least numerous is lexical-semantic group floromorphic world, which includes 66 lexical units. So the structure of the lexical-semantic group evil in the English fantasy text Harry Potter is represented by lexical-semantic groups such as character traits, appearance, relationship, magical activity, and color. A human being occupies the most important and central place in the fantasy world picture. Within the proposed model of scientific description, all aspects of characterization of the lexical-thematic group evil has been explained in terms of textual properties and statistical peculiarities. Properties of consciousness, intention, and perception, which are cognitive operations imposed on the tactile structures on the occasion of use. Lexical meaning described in the research are dynamic and sensitive to contextual demands rather than fixed and stable. The study of the lexical-semantic structure of the fantasy text is related to the world and its functioning in the text of the sequel. And the perspective is recognized in proceeding with the comparison of verbalization and actualization of lexical structures, taking into account gender traits, in particular in comparative studies of lexical structures in the English fantasy text of different authors. Thank you so much for your attention.